Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to be diving into something that is absolutely at the heart of our ministry: how we establish and maintain healthy, ethical boundaries. This isn't really about a list of rules. It's about creating that space of trust and integrity where real, genuine healing can actually happen. I just love this quote from Proverbs. It really hits home. It's such a powerful reminder that the work we do is a sacred trust. It's not just a job. The kind of wisdom we need to guide the women we serve, well, it has to come from a place of deep reverence. Reverence for their stories, for their journeys, and for the incredible responsibility we hold in their lives. Okay, so to make sure we can navigate all this with wisdom and integrity, we first need to be speaking the same language. So let's get crystal clear on some of the core concepts that really form the foundation of our ethical practice. First up, the boundary. And it's so easy to think of boundaries as these cold, hard walls that are meant to keep people out, right? But that's not the right picture at all. A much better way to think about them is like the strong, clear foundations of a safe house. They create the very structure that allows for genuine healing and growth, and they protect everyone inside. Next, we've got the dual relationship. So, what is that? It's what happens when we try to wear two hats at the same time with a resident, being a staff member and a friend, for example. This immediately creates a conflict of interest. It just blurs all the lines, it compromises our professional judgment, and maybe most importantly, it can deeply confuse a resident. And that just undermines all the safety and trust we've worked so hard to build. Now, this slide is really interesting because it makes a critical distinction. A power imbalance, well, that's just built right into our roles. It's totally unavoidable. We have the keys, they don't. We set the schedules, they follow them. But exploitation, that's something else entirely. That is the misuse of that power. It's taking that dynamic and twisting it for our own benefit. As believers, this is exactly where we look to the example in Philippians chapter 2, to have the mind of Christ, who didn't use his power for his own advantage, but to serve. Exploitation is the absolute opposite of that calling. Okay, so we've got the definitions down pat. Now let's bring these ideas to life and see how they actually play out in our day-to-day interactions right here in the recovery home. So take a look at these scenarios. Do any of them feel a little familiar? Playing favorites, becoming that after-hours confidant over text, sharing all the messy details of our own struggles, or giving one person special treatment. These are really common, sometimes super subtle ways that those professional lines get crossed if we aren't being incredibly mindful. This is all about living out what Paul tells Timothy, to be an example in our speech, our conduct, and our love. And look, this isn't just our opinion. Our practice is anchored in the AACEC Code of Ethics. That's the American Association of Christian Counselors. Standard 1130 is completely clear about forbidding exploitation, and 1510 reminds us that every single person deserves to be treated with dignity as an image bearer of God. These aren't just good suggestions. They're the mandates that define our professional, ethical ministry. So, understanding all these principles is the essential first step. But awareness by itself just isn't enough, right? Now, we have to move toward actively putting this knowledge into practice to protect our residents, our ministry, and honestly, ourselves. So, how do we turn all this knowing into doing? Well, this week, we're going to use two really practical tools. First, the boundary awareness log. I really want to encourage you to use this every single day to just reflect on your interactions. And second, we're going to prepare for a role play exercise. It's a chance to actively practice handling these tough situations with both grace and clarity. And this right here, this is the perfect example of the kind of real-world dilemma we'll be tackling. A resident needs $20 for an emergency. It sounds so small, so simple. It feels so compassionate to just say yes. But how you respond is a direct test of everything we have just been talking about. So think about it and come ready to talk it through during our role-play session. Let's end with this one powerful, grounding question. I want you to carry this with you this week. In every text message, every conversation, every single choice you make, just ask yourself, who am I truly serving? Is it the resident in her long-term recovery? Is it our mission? Or is it maybe a need inside of me to be liked, to be the hero, to feel important? Just let that question be your guide.